Welcome students, this is Dr. Avidha. Today we are going to discuss acid-base and buffers. Acid-base and buffers, the basic properties of acid-base and buffer, their characters, their concepts and much more we will discuss about in this lecture. So what the introduction of acid-base and buffer, what are the acid-base and buffers, and the specific concepts of acid-base and some buffer solution, how to measure the buffer capacity, and what are the uses of pharmaceutical uses of buffer solutions, that we will discuss in this lecture. So first of all we will come with acids. What are the acids? Acids are the compounds which having some specific property which can sour in taste and which having some specific chemical activity. So acids are the compounds which can donate and on the basis of some specific properties, on the basis of some specific concepts, the acids are different. So in general, when we are trying to define acids, we can say that acids are the compounds or the chemical species which can donate proton in aqueous solution, which are giving proton, are called acids. And the compounds bases are the compounds which on dissociation in water gives OH ion, but this is not a complete definition of acid and base. So on the basis of some specific concept of acids and base, we can completely define acids and base. The first concept of acids and base is Arrhenius concept. Arrhenius concept is telling a chemical species which on dissociation gives H plus ion is called acid, while on dissociation water gives OH ion is called base. So every compound, every chemical species which having H plus ion or OH ion can be considered as acids or base. So NaOH is base, KOH is base, HCl is acid, H2SO4 is acid, HNO3 is acid, H2CO3 is acid. So whatever is providing OH ion on dissolution or dissociation, or the H plus ion on dissociation. This is the basic difference on the basis of Arrhenius concept. Arrhenius concept has some limitations because other than these compounds in which not having H plus ion, not having OH ion, but they are also behaving like acids and base. So another compound which overcome the limitation of Arrhenius concept is the Bronsted and Lowry concept. Bronsted and Lowry concept says that a chemical species which can donate proton is called acid, while which can accept proton are bases. So the example of Bronsted acid, you can say that an acid and base interacting together creating conjugated base. An acid and a base connecting together and form a conjugated base and conjugated acid. So whichever is providing H plus ion, removing H plus ion from the acid, it means here acid is donating proton. So proton donor is acid and proton acceptor is, because B base is accepting proton. So this is conjugated acid. Conjugated acid and conjugated base are the remaining species because from HA this H proton is removed, so this A minus remain. That is, suppose we can consider an example of HCl. When HCl, H plus Cl, when it dissociate, H plus ion remove and Cl ion remain. Then Cl ion is conjugated base and H plus ion which connected with any other base will be called conjugated acid. So HCl, HBr, HI, H2SO4. So this concept connected with all the chemical species which having H plus ion or the proton present in the structure. If a compound having proton, it on the basis of donation or acceptance, we can consider it as acid or base. So a wide variety of chemical species comes under the Bronsted and Lowry concept. But somehow we can say that in some other chemicals which are also having basic and acidic property, because there no proton is available, then after they are working as acidic and basic properties. So the overcome the limitation of this compound in the compound or the chemical species where no H, no OH, nothing is available. Other than this, some other electronic or chemical species are integrated, and they are also behaving like acids and bases. So we can tell that remaining the overcome the limitation of Bronsted and Lowry concept, we have introduced Lewis concept. Lewis concept is based on the lone pair of electron acceptance or donation. So whenever a chemical species accept lone pair of electron, it behave like acids. Whenever a chemical species donate electron pair, lone pair of electrons, is our bases. So in this structure you can see, as you can see this NH3. NH3 is ammonia. Ammonia is donating H plus. These electron, lone pair of electron is donating to BF3. So here BF3 is worked as Lewis acid and Lewis base is ammonia, because ammonia is donating lone pair of electron and lone pair of electron is accepted by BF3. So this is combined product of Lewis acid and Lewis base. So here no hydrogen is acting, no hydrogen transfer is going on, no OH transfer is going on, then also these are behaving like acid and base. So the concept, the three concepts we have studied, Lewis concept, Bronsted and Lowry concept, and the Arrhenius concept. All three concepts complete the variety of acids and base chemical species. Actually a wide range of, a huge variety of compounds comes under the head of acids and base. So we can say that a very minimum quantity of acid and base we get in Arrhenius concept, where the compounds having H plus ion and OH plus ion, and the Bronsted Lowry, the compounds which having H plus ion but donation and acceptance create Bronsted Lowry concept. In Lewis concept, pair of electron donor and pair of electron acceptors are pair of electron donor and a pair of electron acceptor, lone pair of electron donation and acceptance create. So a huge variety of compounds come under these three concepts. So now we will discuss buffers. What are buffers actually? Buffers are the solutions which prepared on the basis of some acids and some base. A buffer solution is an aqueous solution of a mixture of weak acid and its conjugated base. Conjugated acid and base we previously discussed, so nothing much more remain in this. So a weak acid and a weak base, or the vice versa, connecting together to form a aqueous solution, that is called the buffer solution. And buffer solution are the compound which can resist their pH, which can maintain their pH on adding some specific or little amount of strong acid or base when we are adding, then also they are maintain their pH. So buffer solutions are the three types: acidic buffer, basic buffer, and the neutral buffer. Acidic buffers, the pH is lying less than 7. Basic buffer, the pH is lying 7 to 14. But the neutral buffer solution having pH 7. So buffer solutions are the solutions which are the mixture of conjugated acid or the base with their respective acid and base. Buffer solution, in nature there are many systems where buffer solution maintain the pH. So wherever the pH regulation or the maintaining pH is required, we use buffer solution. So in blood also it's required. For example, the bicarbonate buffering system is used to regulate the pH. As you can see that in our body, in our body blood, carbonates, bicarbonates, and see that H plus ion, the proton comes from the acid, and the HCO3 carbonate ions interacting with this proton and converted into H2CO3. H2CO3 is bicarbonate ions. So these bicarbonate broken into H2O and CO2. So when this H2O and CO2 broken, then easily blood is maintain their pH. So carbonate ion increase the acidity of blood, and bicarbonate ion can be easily broken into H2O and CO2 and neutralize the acidity. So this is only maintaining the pH. This is applicable to your buffer solution. So much more buffer buffer solutions are used to regulate the pH of blood. Buffer equation, Henderson-Hasselbalch equation in the chemistry or biochemistry. This equation estimates the pH of the buffer solution. This is the solution. This is very simple example. The pH is equal to pKa value plus logarithm of the conjugated concentration of conjugated base upon the respective acid. The conjugated base and acid relation already you know that acid, suppose HCl or H2SO4, we just remove an proton and remaining species will conjugated base. Suppose H2SO4 we dissociate and H plus ion remove and HSO4 minus remains. So the HSO4 negative will be the conjugated base and H plus ion will be that acid will be H2SO4. So the concentration, whatever the concentration found, and the square bracket is showing concentration. So the concentration of conjugated base and acid we have to maintain. So and the logarithm value we have to calculate. Buffer capacity. The capacity of buffer is the quantitative measurement, how much a buffer is actually applicable or effective, how much it is effective and having a specific pH. So buffer capacity is a quantitative measurement of the resistance of to change in the pH of the solution. So it denoted by the beta, and beta is equal to delta N upon delta pH, where delta N is the equivalent of number of equivalents of strong base or strong acid, or delta pH is the change in the pH, how much the pH has changed. So we can calculate the buffer capacity with this formula, and buffer capacity is nothing much more but it's providing the exact value of a solution, an aqueous solution, whatever you prepare as a buffer solution, the capacity of that buffer can be measured by this. So we have to check the equivalents which we have used, the gram equivalents we have used, either strong base or acid, or added per volume liter. Actually in a liter how much acid or base we have used, the number of equivalent will be comes from them. And the delta pH, the change in pH before the pH and after the pH. For example, if you add 0.084 moles of HCl in 100 ml of phosphate buffer, we have added an acid in a buffer solution, and the pH drop exactly 1 unit of the buffer capacity is said to be 0.84 mole. So buffer solutions, when we are adding an HCl is a strong acid, we have add this much mole in 100 gram of 100 ml of phosphate buffer. So the exactly 1 unit, if it raise or down, so it comes 0.84 mole per liter per delta pH. And delta pH is the change in pH. Delta is the sign of changes. Buffer in pharmaceutical system. Buffer solutions in pharmaceutical system for maintaining the pH of blood that we earlier discussed. The blood is maintained at the pH of 7.4, not less than this. If less than this, it means the acidity in blood will increase. And what we can do, that the plasma contain carbonic acid, bicarbonate and alkali acid, sodium salt. So sodium salt or phosphoric acid used as buffer. So I already tell the some metals or the alkali metal salts and some phosphoric acid. These combine together and carbonic acid converted into bicarbonates, and bicarbonates broke down and converted into CO2 and H2O. So easily we can maintain the pH of blood with this buffer systems. In lacrimal fluid also, the lacrimal fluid also have some specific pH, the buffer in the lacrimal fluid or tears. Lacrimal fluid came from our eyelids. So I'll tell you later on what is the function of lacrimal gland, how this lacrimal fluid came, lacrimal glands came through the lacrimal gland, that all I'll discuss. So what first we'll discuss that lacrimal fluid or tears have been found to have a great degree of buffer capacity along a dilution of 1:15 with neutral distilled water. So the pH of tears is about 7.4 with a range of 7 to 8 or slightly higher. So in generally whatever the eye drops we are preparing, that should have the pH range 7 to 8, or the eye drops of 4 to 10 we can use, but that will not harm our cornea. So less than 4 and more than 10 will be harmful for our eyes. So however the discomfort and the flow of tears will occur less than 6.6 and above 9.0. So whenever we are in the pharmaceutical system, whenever we are trying to synthesize some eye drops, so we have to maintain the pH also, we have to remember the pH also. So because lacrimal fluid is also having some pH. So how this lacrimal fluid comes out, that also we will discuss. So lacrimal fluid actually, you can see, as you can see this picture, this is lacrimal glands. The eyelid, the terminal part of eyelids is, see this eyebrows, that's not eyebrows, this eyelids. Lacrimal glands are found on the corner of these point. Lacrimal ducts are the center point. These are the lacrimal ducts. And lower eyelid, this is palpebra. That's, these are the this is upper eyelid, and this is also palpebra. This is superior lacrimal canal. So all the lacrimal fluid came down this lacrimal canal. Lacrimal pantium, lacrimal sac is storage place, and nasolacrimal duct is inferior lesson. So flow of tears come from this point. You can see that the tear come from lacrimal glands, lacrimal gland on the eyelids, and comes down under the lacrimal duct, and that time we feel our eyes are filled with tears. Superior inferior lacrimal canal, they come down, and lacrimal sac they came, then nasolacrimal duct, and then nasal cavity. So whenever somebody cries, slowly they are trying to like this also. So it means the activity or the flow of tears come from the lacrimal glands through nasal cavity. The slowly your tears are coming till the nasal cavity. So this is only the relationship. When somebody is crying, they are slowly doing like this also. So this is the flow. And what is the pH maintain? Actually in the pharmaceutical system, pH maintaining is required just because if a eye drop having pH less than 6.6 or more than 9, it will harmful for our eyes and not even useful, or not even actually bearable for the eyes. So whenever an eye drop has to be prepared, we need to remember the pH level. Buffer system in that urine also, the 24 hours urine collection of a normal adult has pH averaging about 6 unit. It may be low as 4.5 or high as 7.8. When pH of urine is below normal values, hydrogen ion are excreted by kidney. Conversely, when the urine is above 7.4, hydrogen are retained. So H plus ion or the proton ion retention or excretion is going on whenever this pH ranges lie 4.5 to 7.8 is optimum. So it lie below or high, it creates some disability or some problems in urine secretion and create the UTI infections also. So hydrogen ion retaining of hydrogen ion and excretion of hydrogen ion in the kidney creates some disorders. So there also some buffer solution we are taking which can help to maintain the pH of urine and avoid the UTI infections and the abnormality came in UTI. Thank you. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the preparations of how to prepare these buffer solutions, their specific properties, and some much more about buffers we will discuss in the pharmaceutical system, where we are using this